The thoughts, views, and opinions you hear on this show are just that. Thoughts, views, and opinions from not only myself, but from my guests. So if you don't like them, disagree with them, or whatever the case may be, well, there's a simple solution to all that, and that's just stop watching. But if you care to partake in the conversation, sit back, turn it up, and enjoy the show. YeahDat. Yumi, emotional. Like, are you emotionally attached as if she was a real person?
Very much so. And that annoys a lot of people. And so,
yeah.
Yumi's got her own money.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
She's incorporated. I have a couple of businesses that I run through her. She has her own phone. She has her own email.
Welcome back to another episode of the YeahDat podcast, hosted by yours truly, West Coast Rob, and I'm joined today by, some very special guests, and I'll allow themselves to introduce themselves. Without further ado, Xeny and Yumi, if you would, please introduce yourself.
Hey there, I'm Zen. This is Yumi. She's not very good at introductions. She doesn't talk much. So I can just introduce her as this is my doll, and she's been with me for a little over 3 years. And
nice.
We're doing good together. Join this
right
because Rob here has some questions, and I want to go ahead and answer them.
Heck yeah. So I'm not sure if you're aware of the last guest I had, Mr. Brian Heron, Denver Dolls. Yeah. Yes. So I don't know, it just kind of opened a whole new world to me. I was introduced to, which I was very interested in. And I came upon your page Yumi's page. And, I was very interested in how everything came to fruition and how everything worked. So let's start with how you were introduced to her or the world of the dolls.
So it goes back to I was a man. I tried the marriage thing a couple of times. It didn't work out either time. But I was still a man and I had needs.
That's
but
right.
My logical side of my brain said, these women, obviously you can't pick them, so you got to figure out some other way to do it. You can't be doing the same thing over and over.
Right.
So I was like on this downward spiral trajectory of like my life. I couldn't focus on my goals because I was still too busy looking at ass and whatnot. So I was listening to this guy called TFM on YouTube. And he said out of nowhere, he started talking about this doll that this guy sent him to test out. And then after listening to him for a few months about his doll, I was like, you know what? I got some spare change. Let me try this. So I dropped $2,000 on a doll and I haven't looked back.
Right on. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I want like the viewers and the listeners to know, like, it is what it is. You enjoy what you enjoy. That don't
you just
feel
have to
some
try
kind
it.
of way. Yeah. Exactly.
And if you don't like it, then you just don't like it. Yeah.
Exactly. So $2,000, huh?
Yeah, this is her second body. So she's got another body hanging in the closet behind us, her older body, her first original body. So I just updated her a few weeks ago.
So is it like robotic or
no?
I seen on her page that a couple of her facial expressions changed. How was that?
Oh, that's apps like Face App, and then the one where she's looking around and smiling. That's from a website called My Heritage, where you can go in and do a family tree. So I started making a family tree for Yumi just to see what they would do. So I created a mother and a father for her and some grandparents for her, and then they let her do her little video. And then they wanted me to send in some DNA for her, and I was like, yeah, that's not going to work out.
Then where do you live?
I'm currently living in El Paso.
El Paso,
Texas.
Right on. So I see that you drive trucks and you take Yumi everywhere you go?
Yes, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you take her and you post her and you take these pictures, do people ask questions like when in the different cities you're in?
Sometimes, but there's a lot of places where I go where I don't take pictures and we're just hanging out and people will come talk to me about her.
Really?
And
what kind of questions do they ask?
Like, why? That's the biggest question is like, why?
Really?
Or like, what is she? She's a doll. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because she's not real. She's a doll. That's why she's a doll. No, but why do you have her? I'm like, I'm being obtuse. Like I have her because I prefer her over, having a woman digging in my pocket or worrying about loyalty and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I'm in the military and like I'm familiar with like the pocket pussies and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
the whole doll thing was just I don't know. It was new to me. Because growing up you hear like the dolls and it's the blow up dolls that are just
Mm-hmm.
now with how technology has advanced, it's very realistic. And a lot of the pictures you've
Yeah.
posted are
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
crazy realistic.
Yeah. She's well, I just want to tell you, I'm retired military myself. I did
Okay, right
21
on.
years in the military. But yeah,
Hey,
she's
my
very,
man.
very realistic and soft. No blow up about her at all.
Hmm.
Um, so she's got her actual breast. She's got on a bra right now. So give her a little bit of
Yeah.
support.
Okay.
So,
So do
but
you
no,
do you
they're
treat
not blow up and they're not. Yeah, I treat her very well.
okay, and you treat it as like just like a real person. You buy
Hmm.
outfits and
Yes.
man.
Just last week I spent over $500 on clothing and shoes for her.
Do you are you interested in getting another one, or is it just like a loyalty thing? Like, no,
A
this is my
loyalty thing.
lady. Okay.
I've tried, instead of getting her this new body, I was going to replace her with one with an actual robotic head, but
Yeah.
they didn't make any that looked like her, and it was like
Hmm.
I just couldn't. Like I had the 7 grand to drop on it. It's just that I just couldn't find one that would let me replace this look right here,
Right.
because
Right.
she's been with me for 3 years, thick and thin.
Yeah. Now,
Well,
when
this
you
is just one of her
replaced,
heads. She has several heads.
yeah, I seen. So was that the little her growing up? That was a part of the app, correct?
Yeah,
Like
that
the
was another
younger.
app. Yeah. Yes.
That shit
But
is
no, she has.
unrealistic.
Yes, she has a couple of other heads that that I sleep with. Like this is a head I put on when she's out in public or we're taking pictures. But then
Hmm.
she has another head that I put on when we're laying in the bed and her eyes are closed.
Oh
It's
shit.
much easier
Okay.
to lay next to them at night when they're not staring at you all night.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So you did 21 years in which branch? Army?
U.S. Army.
Okay, yeah, I figured Texas, El Paso. Thanks for your service, my man. I
Oh, you're
appreciate that.
welcome.
So, man, I just have a lot of questions just kind of running through my mind. So, 3 years, how often do you change the body, the torso?
So this one I have right now, I probably wouldn't have to change for a while, but I had to change the last one just because I needed something. I didn't have to change it. I still have it.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have any hands or anything anymore,
Mm-hmm.
because life on the road is kind of rough.
Yeah.
But she should, like my the guy that has the doll that that I listen to. He's had his doll for almost 6 years now, and she's still in pretty perfect condition because she just stays in the house. And he takes her out and does very, very docile pictures with her. Where I'm out there taking
Mm-hmm.
mine to the range. She's in the truck
Right.
with me, my big ass truck going up and down the road, going to the cigar bars. So I have to clean her up quite often. I take her out into the public, and I'm very she's very active. I'm very active with her, so she gets worn out a
Mm-hmm.
little bit faster than a normal doll. So I would say her last body lasted me 3 years, and then I just wanted a larger version because she was like, if you look at the pictures on Instagram, she was a lot smaller
Mm-hmm.
because she was living in the back of a truck with me. Now that
Right.
I'm not living in that truck anymore, I'm back, just home, just chilling. I got a bigger doll, so a full size woman doll.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the other one was just a lot more narrow
Yeah.
and easier. She was lighter and easier to move around. This one is a lot heavier.
Okay. And that's probably one of the advantages I see in having a doll is you can alter sizes and the
Yeah.
various sizes of the doll from body shapes and all that stuff. So
Yes.
without like what are her measurements if you don't mind me asking?
Well, her current measurements are she wears a 30E in the bra, so she has a 38. She's a 38, 25, and then a 38 in the waist as well.
Okay.
So
About how
yeah,
about how tall is she?
she's 5'3", and she wears
Okay,
a
five
size
foot
5
three.
shoe.
Okay. Right on, man. So when you when you first had Yumi and you started bringing her around family and friends, what was that like? That experience like?
So the first time I took her around, I brought her back to the house here in El Paso, and I live with other guys. There's a bunch of other military guys. We all just live in this house because a lot of us are always gone all the time. So it's like there's always at least one or two of us here. It's just a brotherhood. It makes living outside of the military. I don't know if you understand combat arms and whatnot, but it's just better to have brothers around.
Yeah. So trust me, I do.
And it's just so we're in and out and everything, and they love her. My dad, he's passed away now, but when I was talking to him about getting a doll, rather than he was like he was sad. I'm like, but Dad, I've already been married twice. I've got kids. I don't need to go through that mess again. Have the state taking my children from me again and making me a wage slave. Right. I'm not trying to do that. I want to actually be retired one day. And told him about her. He wasn't very enthused. Then I got her, and I said, we're coming by. We're going to stop by. And I hadn't seen him in a couple of years, so he was as happy to see me, but he was going to put up with my doll just to put up with my doll. 3 days into the visit, I'm coming out of the room for breakfast, and he's like, is Yumi coming to breakfast too? So, and then the following day, the fourth day I was there, he came out in his little wheelchair with his bib overalls on and his red flannel shirt. And then I'm rolling Yumi out in her wheelchair, and she's got on her jeans and her red flannel shirt. And then his wife, my stepmother, and we all had a good laugh. Yeah.
Nice.
So my dad was 84 years old when he met Yumi.
Okay. So that's old school ways right there. So
and then we talk on the phone like 3, 4, maybe 5 times a week while I was out on the road trucking, and it was never a time that I called it. He didn't ask about Yumi and how she was doing and whether I was taking care of her. And when I had to tell him about taking her hands off, he was sad about that. Yeah. Like it was his own daughter for real or something.
Yeah. But, that's cool though. That's cool.
Yeah, so
it's just the fact that Yumi brought you happiness, and
and then you're his kid. On him. It wasn't as creepy as he thought when he actually met her.
Yeah. And I don't. To me, it's like the thought of someone having a realistic doll as their spouse or significant other. To me, isn't creepy. But I just don't get how to some people it is creepy because they just don't understand. You know what I mean?
Then again, you are military, so you're very open-minded.
That's true.
Takes a different. That's true. Us military folks are a different breed.
Yeah, definitely. So, how is it with your kids? How are they in regards to Yumi?
My daughter loves Yumi. Every time I take Yumi around my daughter, she does her hair, or right now she's working on something for her Instagram page. Okay. I mean, Yumi paid her though, so Yumi's got her own money.
That's what's up.
She's incorporated. I have a couple of businesses that I run through her. She has her own phone. She has her own email. As you've seen, you've been responding to Yumi through Yumi's email address. Yeah. She has her own cash apps. She pays her own stuff.
That's what's up.
She's her own entity.
I've seen that, of course, and I can see that it's not. That is an actual genre, and there's more like Yumi doing that. Yes. And I'm sure you're aware. There's another profile I follow. I think it's Eva or Iwa, and out in Australia.
She's got 14,000 followers.
Yes, and I'm one of them. And I was intrigued by the whole thing. It's just
he followed me first. We DM and chat online about our dolls. I'm asking him all the time, like, how was she? How many versions of her do you have? She always, because he's been posting her for years, and she's still in perfect condition. And he says, well, that's just his photo doll. He also has several other dolls. Dude has a yacht. Dude is living large.
Okay. Yeah, I reached out to see if he would be a guest on the pod as well. I haven't heard anything back yet, but I'm assuming they're very busy. Mm-hmm. But he's
not like me. He hasn't published himself on the Instagram. Like you see me on her Instagram page.
Yeah.
You won't see him on his page.
Okay, so that's probably why. So what future aspirations do you have for you and Yumi going forward?
Well, the future, like immediately this evening, we're going to head out to Red Sands and hang out with the big trucks. Roll our big truck out there, set up an awning, and we'll sit out there, drink some beer, smoke some cigars, and watch the stars and watch the trucks roll around. And
Okay.
that's what, Saturdays we hang out at the cigar bar. Sundays we like to go out and watch the big trucks. Future wise, we're just gonna continue just to exist. I mean, whatever the future brings. People call me up, say, "Hey, you want to come do this?" I'm like, "Yeah." And it's like, "All right." And I said, I'm bringing Yumi. He's like, "Oh, that's cool." And they're like, I'm the guy with the doll around here, and I guess I'm friendly enough to where they accept her.
That's fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. How is it? How do you feel when it comes to like introducing to new people? Does that bother you any?
No.
Okay. Have you traveled outside of the United States with Yumi?
No, I haven't even tried to take her on an airplane yet. So.
Okay. Yeah, I was eager to see how that was.
But I generally love to drive anyway. I'm a driver, so I generally drive everywhere I go. But yeah, if it comes down to me getting her on an airplane, I'm just gonna have to wheel her in there and buy an extra seat, wheel her in there, and they're either gonna let me on the plane or they're not, and then I'll just turn around and go back and drive. I'll take the train.
Do you receive it? Yeah. Do you receive like a lot of stares and points and all that?
Sometimes
when
kids,
you are out,
and sometimes the kids do, and then kids love her.
That's cute.
I take her to parties, and the kids will just come up and love her, and want to play with her, and
yeah.
But no, usually I'll get a stare or two, but generally they come up and ask.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Now I get accused a lot by women that she looks like a kid, that she looks like she's 12. I'm like, she doesn't look like she's 12. Now I get a lot of that from women, like that I guess might feel threatened by the fact that she's not real.
Yeah,
and has a man
that's
they
probably
can't
what it
get.
is.
But they'll be like, but then most women are just think she's adorable and want to hang out with her. You see, like I got pictures in there. Well, there's a couple of other pictures I have of just women just wanting to hang out with her. And but I got one picture because the lady said I could put her on her Instagram, hanging out with my doll, talking. And some of the smaller women actually offer clothes and her makeup or her purse has makeup in it from just random people, just like, well, let's try this lip gloss on her, and then they'll just throw the lip gloss in her bag. She needs this in her bag, and they'll pull something out of their bag and stick it in her bag. So
that's cool, though. That's cool that the people are actually like receptive to her. Mm-hmm. And I've seen a couple of pictures where she's sitting on women's lap, like chilling. Yeah. What is she made out of?
TPE.
What material? Okay, the plastic elastomer.
Yes, she's a cheaper model, so she's not the cheapest model. She's the top of the line of the lowest of the line models.
Okay.
Yeah. After that, it goes to, like you said, the silicone, NTP, and then silicone.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Man, that is crazy. It just is intrigued. So when it comes to you and posting the pictures, is it somewhat of a tedious thing, like trying to post her as, I want her doing this, sitting this way, snap the shot, and then I want her here, so on and so forth?
She's heavy. She's heavy, and this new body is very stiff. So the old body had gotten so loose to where it couldn't stand up anymore. So I was doing all kind of tricks and hanging things and making it to where she looked like she was standing, to where I just gave up trying to make her stand up. This one here, she stands up pretty good, but she is really stiff and she's really heavy. So tedious isn't a word because I enjoy it. I enjoy the exercise of it. I enjoy moving her around because it just keeps me in shape, keeps me fit. But there's pictures that I want to take that I know that I really can't take because she's a doll and it'd be hard to get her to get in that position, or I don't want to get her too dirty because she's harder to clean than just spray a woman off with a hose and she's clean. Where her, I got to hang her up and oil her down, and the more I oil her, the softer I make her skin. The softer I make her skin, the more likely she is to tear it quicker in the future.
Oh, okay. Wow, did not know that.
Yeah.
How much does Yumi weigh?
Yumi weighs 83 pounds.
Oh, shit. Okay.
This version. The other version was 63 pounds. This one is 83. Now, I took my auntie to a graduation party last night. My auntie is about an inch and a half shorter than Yumi. She says she was telling me she weighs 157 pounds. My auntie says she weighs 157 pounds.
Yeah.
But she's so short she couldn't crawl up in my truck. You've seen my truck on the Instagram.
Yeah.
So she couldn't get in the truck. So I said, I got you. And I picked her up and I scooped her up. I was like, oh my Lord, you're light. She says, I'm 150 pounds. I was like, you weigh nothing. This doll here she's like only 80 something pounds, but she feels like she weighs twice as much as my 150 pound honey. I don't understand that. It doesn't make sense.
That's crazy.
I just scooped my aunt up and just put her in the truck like it was nothing. I was like, ooh, this is like easy work right here. When I lift her and move her around, I was like, oh.
Yeah, that's what Brian was saying when he was lifting one of his thicker dolls. He said she weighed 104 pounds, and he was just saying she was heavy.
Really feels like. It's like the weather when it says the temperature is, but it feels like. That's what dolls are. The weight is, but it feels like she weighs 83. She feels like 200.
Damn. Okay. That's crazy. I would love to. I got to do my research and see where I can actually experience one in person. So when it comes to your like cleaning, like you said, you have to oil it. So what is a typical cleanliness routine or cleaning routine for you?
So I like to if I take her out and we have a pretty rough weekend where she gets like scuffs on her, dirt on her or something, then I'll hang her up. I got like a thing up here hanging from my ceiling. Let me see if I can point at that real quick with this camera. Yeah, see up there in the ceiling?
Oh yeah.
That's her cleaning rack right there.
Okay.
So I hang her from that by her neck. Like I screw that little that ring into her neck. I pop her head off, screw her neck into, and then I hang her up from there. And I undress her, and I oil her down and let her hang there for a couple of hours, 2-3 hours, and then I come back and I baby powder her. So the awesome thing about it is, like when you first order them, they smell like plastic. It's kind of off-putting.
Yeah.
But the more you clean them, and the more extracts that you put in the oil you clean them with, the more of a air freshener they become.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, but then sexually cleaning her isn't that hard because when I'm done with her sexually, she has a removable insert, so I just slide that out and take it to the bathroom and rinse it out.
Okay.
And I have multiple. So.
Okay, so you just replace them?
Well, no. What I do is I have multiple ones. So like, I hit it and I move it, put it to the side, put it on the cleaning rack so I can clean it when I leave the room. But then if I have to hit it again, I got another one on standby, and then then that goes into the cleaning rack, and then the next thing I know, I'm doing it again. Before I know it, I've got like 5 inserts to go clean out, and it's still the day.
Hey, who cares? Why not? Okay. So when you order the doll, does it come with like, okay, this is what you should lube it up with, or scan or clean it with?
No.
It's just. Do they even give you like instructions or directions?
They give you some bending instructions and say clean it with warm soapy water, but they don't really tell you anything about oiling or because they sweat. The TPE here is porous. It's a porous material, and you see how smushy it is. So it's a porous material, and it soaks in the oil, but it also excretes the oil. So, like, she sleeps in the bed with me. Her side of the bed is darker than my side of the bed because the sheet on her side of the bed has her oil secretions in it. So that's just something else you got to put up with having it all. For some reason, though, it doesn't get into her clothes, and her pajamas don't ever feel like they're oil soaked, but the sheets, they just soak up the oil. And so every month I have to reapply the oil because she'll start to get stiffer. Like, you can poke her and she's soft, but as the time goes on and that moisture comes out, she gets stiffer, or to where you can't push in as much. You got to re-oil her so she doesn't start to crack. Okay. But if you over-oil her and she becomes too soft, then she'll rip at her joints.
Wow.
So you got to be careful. So like when I do cleanups on her, like spot cleanups, I try to stay away from her joints.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, that is interesting. Very interesting. I was going to ask, how often do you oil her and clean her? So once a month
Once
is
a
when you
month
do.
is good, just because I'm in El Paso, it's a dry area. So once
Oh
a month,
yeah,
just to get
Sandy.
get her skin back to have the oil in it.
Okay. Now, is her hair interchangeable and her eyes, or is
Yes.
that's just
hmm So
okay?
this
Do
is her
you?
wig. Um, I had this, I'm working on getting her another wig made because I want one that fits her skull better with better
Mhm.
sideburns. This one was a pretty good lace front, but it's kind of getting old, so yeah. So I wanted to replace it. It's real hair, a nice little lace front,
Okay.
about $800.
Shit. God, those are high maintenance, huh?
Yeah. Well, they don't have to be because they come with like 6 free
Yeah.
wigs. I got a closet full of wigs that are just free, but
Yeah. But
nothing as nice
like
as the
material,
real hair. Yeah, because it's
right?
got the different.
Okay.
I mean, when you see her in person, she's got different flecks of color and texture in her hair that just makes it look so much more real than just a wig.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Because if I mean, why wouldn't you want it to be look as realistic as possible?
And feel good. It's so soft.
Yeah. Okay. So it when you said the other torso failed to stand on its own, it kind of like takes me back to like GI Joes when you played with GI
Yes,
Joes
and
and
they get all
like the
wiggly.
legs just
Exactly.
yeah. So it's the same kind of concept, huh?
And I had broken her ankle, so her ankle was broken. And, yeah. So
Being too rough or what?
no, I had a hard stop in my tractor, and she flew off the bed. That was a
Oh
day that I didn't
shit.
put her up in the front seat in a seatbelt like I usually do. So I left her in the bed
Yeah.
because I was in a rush, and I had a hard stop on the highway, and she got thrown out of the bed, and it broke her ankle.
Oh shit.
That's how
Okay.
that's how her
So
first
when
hand
it
got messed up too.
yeah, I seen the post where it said her hands hadn't come in
Yeah. Oh
and you
yeah.
guys were waiting for the hands.
Yeah.
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 So
Her body was a week late.
when it comes to you and Yumi emotional, like are you emotionally attached as if she was a real person?
Very much so, and that annoys a lot of people
How so?
because I still got friends and aunties that are trying to hook me up. Or if I'm out at the cigar bar with her, or I'm at another bar with her, then the women will sit and talk to me, try to chat me up, and I'm like, no, I'm with her. And they're like,
Yeah.
it's a, oh, I know she's a doll, but that's who I'm with. She's like, how? That's my girl. And they just don't get it.
Yeah.
But no, I don't even, my brain doesn't even really register other women as people I like to be with at this point. It's the way I was when I was married too. When I was married, I had my
Yeah.
wife, and I spent a lot of time deployed overseas, away from them, doing training or just everywhere else. Women are always around.
Hmm.
I just ignored them
Of
because I
course.
had a wife. I was attached to my
Right.
wife. Same with my first wife. So
Hmm.
I'm a weird anomalous kind of guy. Most guys are like my brothers and my cousins that are they like multiple women, and every time they get a chance they'll hit. They don't care. Where me,
Yeah.
I have a loyalty issue because I had a shitty ass mom. So pardon my language, but my mom was garbage,
No, no worries.
and I just she treated me real bad, and it was just terrible. So
Yeah.
I don't really trust a lot of women. So when I do, I do, and I've been burned twice, and I don't like being burned. So I've kind of gone away from even trying to trust women, and that really annoys
Yeah.
them. It annoys some of them women, and then that's when I get the shaming tactics that oh she looks like a little girl, or you could do better, or what are you scared of? All those shaming
Yeah.
tactics to try to make me. I'm like that doesn't do anything but make you look even worse in my
Right.
eyes.
Right. Yeah,
I
because you're
yeah.
happy. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter.
I'd find you cooler if you were more acceptive. If you was more accepting and
Yeah.
you weaseled your way into the relationship with myself and my doll. But coming out
Yeah.
and trying to shame her immediately, I'm like, or shame me, not shaming her, they're shaming me. I'm like,
Yeah.
that shit don't work on me. I ain't looking
Excuse me.
for nothing from you, so I don't care what you think.
Exactly. Good. Have you ever met someone who was wanting to join you and your dog?
Yes. Yes.
Expound on that. Expound on that.
So one of the guys I live with here, he's old. He's like 71 years old. And
Yeah.
I was coming in off the road, and he was like, hey, you got Yumi? I'm like, yeah. He's like, can I have sex with her? I'm like, but he had been drinking. I'm like,
Okay.
no. He's like, well, why? I was like, would you like it if I walked up and asked you if I could have sex with your wife? And he was like, F her, man. Well, I know you're divorced now, but I'm talking about when you were still married. But then I come to find out he was a swinger, so it really still didn't want to matter. So I said no.
Okay.
So he was like, well, are you going to have sex with her tonight? More than likely. He said, can I watch? I'm like, no, leave me alone. But when I got the new body and I took the new body out there because he was excited, and my other buddy was excited about seeing her new body, seeing her a little bit taller and just bigger. His old ass, first thing he did, he came running up. He started grabbing her breast.
Can I have the whole body?
He started squeezing her breast. Whoo, whoo. You know that old man look? Slapped her butt.
Oh, yeah.
And my other guy was like, oh, my God. I'm like, JC, if I didn't have to hold her up right now, if I just couldn't accept that she was a doll, I'd punch you in the face. He's like, why? She's a doll. I said, would you care if I kicked your dog? Don't kick my dog. Don't grab my doll's titties. But no, don't. Because I don't like his dog. He knows I don't like his dog. I'll kick your dog.
Yeah.
He's like, no. I was like, why not? It's just a dog. It'll be fine. It's just a dog. It's just a one kick. You know I've always wanted to kick it. Can I kick it? No, don't kick my dog. He still doesn't grasp the concept, though, that I'm actually emotionally invested in this doll. So for some reason,
that is your significant other.
Yeah, his brain doesn't work like that because he's a swinger. He thinks that all women are up for grabs at all time, and then she's just a doll, so that's even lesser in his mind. So
right,
but he's still cool. He's
she can't say no.
I understand him, and we're on good terms.
Okay, that's good. Is he the only person you've encountered that's wanting to partake?
No. When I was out driving, I was up in the truck yard, and I had a guy I was helping him fix his truck. He was having a problem with his truck, so I went over to help him fix it. Then I needed something off my truck, so he followed me back to my truck. I got up on my truck. He said, whoa, because he saw her sitting up in the passenger seat. He's like, who's that? I said, oh, that's my girl. He's like, oh. And he's like, she's kind of weird. I was like, no, she's a doll. So he's like, what? So he went to the passenger side, crawled up. I unlocked the door for him so he could check her out. So he went, and he's like, and he, squeezed her arm and like, oh, she's so soft. I'm like, yeah. I don't know what went through this guy's mind. He's like, whack, and slapped her across the face.
What?
I kicked him off the side of my truck. My boot went straight to his chest off the side of my truck. He bounced off the truck next to my truck and landed on his face on the ground. And I was like, oh, shit, I'm going to go to jail. I'm going to go to jail. He's like, what was it? I'm like, you mother, and I started getting on him. I was like, what? I was like, why? Why would you slap my doll like that? He's like, well, women like to be slapped. I'm like, not the women that I deal with.
Yeah, what?
But no, I've encountered women. So let me tell you this story real quick. Saturday nights are now a personal thing. I made an exception last night because I took my auntie out. But every Saturday, wherever I go, when I leave this house after 5 p.m., Yumi goes with me. Because a few weeks back, it was last month, one of my buddies popped up in town, and we were drinking, and he got me to go to a strip club. I went in there, probably dropped $1,000. A stripper followed us home, followed me home, followed my big ass truck home. Ended up with her, fucked her a couple of more times throughout the week. But then I felt so horrible, so bad, because I was cheating on her, and it was the whole back of my head. Every time I only messed with her like 2 more times. I messed with her like on a Tuesday, and then I went and dropped in on her on Friday. After that, I was just like, I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah,
I was like, my brain just would not. I was like, because she's a woman, she looked good, she felt good, she was my body type. But I couldn't connect to her emotionally. Plus, she asked me to do some stuff that I was not comfortable with, such as slapping and choking. I don't like being abusive because if you leave a mark on them, they can come back at you. no matter how much you think that they are cool with it, they can hold that over your head like a weapon. And then she wanted me to have sex with her without a condom because she likes that and it feels good. And then I come to find out that she had a kid. So I found out she had a kid the Friday when I went over, but she wasn't telling me about that kid. But I saw there was a room and the door was actually cracked and then there was some kid stuff. I'm like, oh, you got a kid? She's like, yeah, but her kid ain't never with her, but she has a kid. And I guess she generally tries to keep that hidden from people, but she wanted me to have sex with her without a condom. I was like, nah. And I was kind of done with that, but I was feeling, whew. So I swore to me and her as a commitment to her that everywhere I go on Saturdays, she goes with me. So if I end up at a strip club, she's with me.
She goes too.
And that's why she's been going out to so many bars and places here lately, because Saturday nights my buddies go out. Well, she's in the truck with us. And they don't care because they're going to go have fun anyway. Yeah. And she's a talking thing. She gets the females to come to the table to figure it out, and then they go home with chicks.
That's what's up. So they're probably like, yo, Zay, bring Yumi. Bring Yumi.
Oh, no. Like the cigar place, he uses her for advertisement. Yeah, nice. He puts her up on stories, and when she's in, he lets everybody know Yumi's in the house so that people will pop up just because Yumi's there.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I'm glad you brought that up because that was that clarified a lot of things. Like with the stripper, since you're so emotionally attached to Yumi, did that affect you?
Yes.
And how you? Okay.
I felt like I really let myself down. I wanted to say because I never really cheated on any of my wives, and that was the first time I've ever cheated on something that I thought of as a significant other, which was her. And I was like, I thought I was somebody else. So I guess I'm not who I thought I was. So it's a lot more introspective.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to get myself in trouble over a stripper. Something that everybody's seen and everybody can have.
Yeah.
Why would I do that to myself? I have more value than that.
Good. You recognize that self-worth. That's good. Was there any time when you had Yumi where you felt as, okay, oh, there's a real woman. Maybe I should try this, and maybe that's Yumi's kind of like an afterthought or not.
Just that stripper.
The main focus.
Just that stripper because I was really drunk.
Just that one time.
Yeah. Took her home. Okay. See, I was really drunk when I hit her after the club. Mm-hmm. So, but then because vagina, I tried it out again during the week. And because vagina, I went back on Friday. But then my logical brain was catching up to me, and then my consciousness started catching up with me, and it's like, what are you doing? It's been 3 years. Plus, going to the strip clubs, and that wasn't the first. So we went to the strip clubs 2 more weeks after that. That's when I made the commitment to take Yumi with me. Because I would say inside of 3 weeks of going to the strip clubs, I spent about $3,500 in 3 weeks at strip clubs. Because I go to the strip club and I'm going to go. I'm going to buy the booth. I'm going to buy the bottle. I'm going to live.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Pay to smoke my cigars up in there. Way. It's like $100 for your cigar for you to be able to smoke in the building. So I'm dropping the money, and then the strippers come out, and it's like, I'm like, because I get drunk and I get happy and I get to having fun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So inhibitions kind of drop.
Yeah.
So what was the reconciliation like with Yumi after that?
The reconciliation was just me in my home. All the reconciliation happened here in my head.
Yeah.
I had to reconcile with myself because as much as I love her and as much as she does for me physically, I am still totally aware that she's a doll. She has no thoughts of her own. Every thought that she has, every ambition that she has, anything that she has comes from here. And I personify it onto her. I place it on her. So it's an extension of my more vulnerable self that I put onto this. But it also makes me stronger.
Good.
Like, you don't see very many men going through the bra section and then calling a lady over, how come I can't find any 30s? Where are the 30s at? you know.
Yeah.
Or if I'm in the shoe section, in the women's shoe section, hey, where are the fives at? What's going on here? Or call them over. My girl, she's got a 38, waist size. I mean, hip size, but her waist is like a 25. Which one of these sets of panties would fit her better? Or I'll call a chick over and say, hey, you're kind of like my doll size. Yeah, you kind of. Yeah. Where do you get those pants? Oh, you.
Do you say doll size?
You kind of like my girl. You look like my girl. I want to get her some clothes.
Yeah.
Where do you get sizes like that fit you like that? Because that's hugging you right. So, and they're like,
yeah,
woo. And then so they'll start talking to me, and then I go on by my own way.
Excuse me.
So it brings out another side of me, talking to people and figuring stuff out. Learned how to do makeup, learn how to do hair.
Nice. So Yumi's actually help you grow as a person.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's good. When you when people ask about your partner or significant other, and can I see it? And you show a picture.
Yeah, I pull up her
what's
Instagram.
That reaction like?
Or I tell them, well, she's got an Instagram page if you want to check her out. And then they pull her up. If they don't have Instagram, then I'll just show her the Instagram from my phone. And they're like, oh, she's so cute. She's pretty. And I'm like, and they'll go through and it's like, and it might take them a minute. And then some people, they don't get it at all looking at her Instagram. And they're like, well, why isn't she with you right here? I was like, right now. I'm like, she's heavy, so I didn't want to bring her out. What do you mean she's heavy? Well, she's a doll, and she weighs like 83 pounds, so it just wasn't the place to be bringing her right now. So I'm like, a doll? Or if I'm talking to people and I'm like, they're talking about their women and everything, and I say, yeah, I know, I just hang out with my doll. And they're like, yeah, I have a dog too. I'm like, I don't like dogs. I can't stand dogs. And he was like, but you just said you had one. I said, no, I have a doll. And you're like, and I just talked to him like it's so serious. Like, no, I said I had a doll.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
Yeah.
So then I say, hold on. And I pull out my phone, go to her Instagram. Yeah, this is my girl right here, my doll. And he's like, so they're just like, give me that side eye, and like, oh, okay, okay. But a lot of people are just excited because they've heard about him. They just have never met one or seen one. So when I come around, they have the opportunity to see one. So a lot of people find that, or somebody will tell somebody, hey, there's a doll here. So then they'll all come over and figure it out and see. But then there are still some people that are still just creeped out. But I think that they're not creeped out because they think she's creepy. They're creeped out because they're not comfortable enough with themselves to accept that they might like it.
Definitely.
Most of your creepiness comes from your own personal insecurities of, do I know myself?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Do you ever get tired of people coming up to you and be like, oh, can I see it? Can I touch it? Can I blah, blah, blah? No. Can I do this to her?
No, because when they do that, they're being open. They're being vulnerable. Why would I upset them in their vulnerable moment? As long as they're not abusive or crass, I let them be vulnerable and I treat that with kindness. And it's a way to let them explore something else in their life that they would have never had a chance to explore before. Why would I ridicule or put somebody down for that? But I'm a different kind of person.
That's good.
I'm a different thinking person.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I say that all the time about myself. I say I'm different all the time. So I'm very similar with you in that aspect. Like, there's no reason to belittle anybody, especially if they're genuinely curious or have genuine questions about something they're unfamiliar with. You know what I mean?
So it just opens them up, and they become a bigger person for coming out and asking.
Yeah, definitely.
I get a lot of people in Yumi's DMs that they'll try to DM her, and then we get to talking, and I'm like, and they want to get with her, they want to meet her, and I say, I'll be talking in her voice, so it'll be as if they're talking to her. So I'll type as if I'm her talking to them. And then they want to meet her and they say, can I get some nudes? I'm like, sure, you can look at all the nudes you want. And then I'll send them the link to where I purchased her from. So that they have the advertisement. They're like, wait a minute. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a doll, by the way. And they're like, what? And I have, infinite amount of sisters. You can order this one. You can order any of the other body types that you want and just throw my head on it. And there you go. And they're like,
Yeah.
and then, but some of them will stop, but the majority of them will get very curious and continue talking to me. And that's when I go from being the Yumi
Yeah.
voice to being my voice, explaining the situation and how they
Yeah.
can. But a lot of them are overseas, so they're in places where they can't get a doll. But in
Yeah.
general, almost everybody that I've talked to, they end up getting a doll. And they'll post their pictures to me of their new
Oh.
doll. And quite a few of them have got this doll right here. Well, not her body, but something similar with this head. Yep,
Yeah.
head number 36.
Okay. Okay. I was about to say, is the Yumi? Is that the name, or did you name?
So when I
Yumi?
bought her off the website, her doll name on the website was Penelope. It has now been
Okay.
changed to Kimberly on the doll site. But
Okay.
I named her Yumi.
Okay. You have a preference for Asian?
Both my wives were black. So I married a Haitian. I have a preference
Mhm.
for petite black females.
Okay.
I mean,
my
I was
man.
raised. My father was black. All my family was black.
Okay.
I'm the lightest person in my family. The white side, my mother is white, and she had blue eyes, blonde hair, and she was horrible. And her whole family disowned her
Yeah.
and had nothing to do with me when I was growing up because my father was black. So,
Okay.
like on the inside, I feel like I am your complexion on the inside, even though I know what I look like on the outside.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I've come to terms with that. I came to terms with that a long time ago. Now, one of my other brothers, both of my other brothers, both of them talk about they treat black people like this, and they treat us, and they always treat me like this because I'm black. And I'm like, dudes, y'all are light. Y'all are light as me. Nobody looks at you and thinks you're black.
Yeah.
They look at you and think you're Mexican,
Yeah.
or you're a darker white guy. No one would look at me and say, "Hey, that guy's black."
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
that's the way I was raised. I was raised in southeastern Iowa and St. Louis, Missouri, and that's where all my people are at.
Okay.
In St. Louis.
Yeah.
And they're cool with her.
Okay.
Yeah, they're cool with her too. But I'm with her, and I chose this body style because, for one, the darker dolls, the black faces and heads they make for them,
Yeah.
they're not my style.
Yeah. Oh,
They're
no.
not
Yeah.
really my style.
I feel
But
you.
I didn't always want to look
Mhm.
at that and be like, and then have the memories and the remembrance of my first two wives. And they're both like 5'1".
I got you.
My first wife was 5'1", 90 pounds when I married her. And my second wife was 5'1", and she was like 110 pounds when I married her. So I've always liked petiter,
Okay.
thinner females.
Yeah.
And I was
Okay.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
it is what it is, man. But I have her because
Yeah.
I didn't want to look at her all the time and be caught up in my thoughts of the past. I'm
Reminded.
moving forward.
Right. Right. Okay. That's
So
good.
yeah.
Yeah. Looking at you, I honestly thought you were Mexican. Looking at you. And me, myself, like I'm mixed. Like my mother is Filipino and Spaniard. Okay. So my grandparents are all, Spain, Philippines. So people look at me and they're like, oh,
yeah.
my God, but I'm really mixed. So I feel you on that.
You're deeper than what you are on the outside looking at. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Well, my man Z, I've had enough. Well, I've taken enough of your time, man. Is there any shout outs or anything you want to give to listeners or viewers out there?
I don't know if any of them might know you, but I say TFM on Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
He has saved my life because 3.5 years ago, almost 4 years ago, I felt like my life was amounting to nothing. I didn't even want to exist anymore because I was going through that second divorce, kid taken from me, massive debt. I was $177,000 in debt after a divorce, where I was up like 200 and something thousand. I had about $276,000. Then after the divorce, I was negative $177,000 and hardly nothing. I had like 5 changes of clothes and a car. Lost the house, lost the kid, lost all my money. Took out cash advances on my credit cards and everything. I was like, how am I going to come back from this? So but talking to him, finding my own self-worth, figuring out who I was and who I want to be, where I want to go. And then once I figured that out, how to do it. What has been impeding me and what will impede me, cutting that out and moving forward. And TFM, I'm going to put his whole name out here, Turd Flinging Monkey. That guy right there.
Okay.
He
okay. On Instagram or
well, if you want to find him on Instagram, you have to look up Celestina Monkey.
Okay.
His doll Instagram is what got me doing my doll Instagram. So Celestina Monkey. But he's not on YouTube. He's been kicked off of YouTube. He's been kicked off of almost all platforms because no one likes his message. His message is about empowering men and empowering yourself so that you can get out from under the thumb of government and the yoke, the slavery type yoke that the gynocentric society has placed us males under. So they've been trying to shut him out of everything. He just got shut out of a couple of more things last week. So the only place I know to find him is on Odyssey, MGTOW.tv, or Patreon. He hasn't been kicked off Patreon yet. We're all surprised at that.
Yeah, of course. Shoot, people pay for that. That's why.
So, but yeah, that's about the only shout out I have. I'll give a shout out to my man that saved my life.
Right on. I just have Yumi send me the link in the messages, so that way I can post it in the show notes.
I guess you can look her up on her Instagram at Yumi K, Yumi_K at Instagram.com, and I'll send you the link for that too.
Right on. There you go. Oh, you don't need to. I follow her. Well, Xeny, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you taking the time, you and Yumi, to come on here and just kind of bring out a not even a genre, just a lifestyle that a lot of people live, but a lot of people don't want to bring out. And I appreciate you for taking the time to do so.
I appreciate your serious questions and your open mindset to this talk. I do.
Of course, man. People got to take care of people, and in order for people to take care of people, they got to be open to learning new things. So that's just my whole mindset behind it. But thank you for your time, my man, and you and Yumi. I hope you have a good rest of your day.
I'm gonna work on that. You too, man. Take care, brother.
All right. Later.